Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with a new angle here for you guys. So as you can see, I was describing the incident earlier. Now you're really able to get an idea of what exactly happened here. As I mentioned previously, this crash occurred a little over an hour ago right here near the intersection of Lost Canyon Road and Jake's Way in Canyon Country. As of our latest update, we did hear that there was possibly one person trapped inside the vehicle. And we're still looking for more information as to what exactly happened here. This crash occurred right near the intersection of Lost Canyon Road. All right, just trying to make sure we don't get too close to the crash and get told to leave. Right near the intersection of Lost Canyon Road and Jake's Way in Canyon Country. Please try to avoid the area if at all possible. We do not know the condition of the one person who was inside the vehicle last we heard. We do know that American Medical Response, aka the ambulance, is still on scene, which is a good size. And as you can see, they're actually setting up crime scene tape in order to prevent anybody from entering the area. So just to give you an idea of exactly how steep this riverbed is, take a look at what this deputy is having to deal with just in terms of trying to set up crime scene tape. That is the sort of lip that this vehicle is having to deal with here. It is not a great area for a vehicle to go over, especially something as large as an RV, as you can see right ahead here. So this vehicle has been stuck here for nearly an hour as of this point, and we're still looking for more information as to what exactly happened here that caused the crash. So please bear with us. You can head on over to hometownstation.com or hit up any of our social media accounts at KHTSradio.com. We do have members of the Los Angeles County Fire Search and Rescue Team in the area working on trying to recover the vehicle itself. So if you're seeing a lot of fire department vehicles in the area, it is largely due to this incident. As you can see, we pulled out a very large tow truck here in order to try to get that vehicle out. Please, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit me up in the comments and I'll see what I can do to try to answer. We are trying to get you more information as of this point as to what exactly occurred here. Unfortunately, information is very, very slow going. Sorry, one second. I'm trying to hear back from the newsroom. Yeah, unfortunately, we really don't have much new information as of this point. We do know that this crash happened about an hour ago as of this point when that RV lost control, went about 40-50 feet off of the roadway after jumping a curb and crashed into the Santa Clara Riverbed. Since then, this incident has been very, very slow to develop. We do know that there was one person trapped inside the vehicle in unknown condition. We are still unaware of what exactly sort of situation the driver might be in at this time, unfortunately. As I mentioned previously, this crash occurred near the intersection of Jake's Way and Lost Canyon Road in Canyon Country. So for those of you who are familiar with the area, this is exactly where the roundabout is, right near those new apartments and near the entrance to the, I believe, Logix Bank is off to the east here. It does look like they finally managed to wrap this giant cable around the RV itself and are now working on trying to tow it up and back. There has been no word as to the condition of the driver as of this point, which could either be a good thing or a bad thing. Although I am now seeing a sheet. So, yeah, I haven't heard anything about the driver as of this point. So we are hoping that the driver is all right, possibly trapped, but we shall see. It looks like we do have some firefighters working their way down with okay. So it looks like they've got some sort of braces that they're going to use to press between the RV itself and the ground in order to try to lever it out. Because as you can see, if you look at the back end of that RV, if they just pull, all they're going to do is just dig that RV into the hillside. So they need some way to try to lever it up off of those rocks in order to try to just get a little bit of information. Yeah. So excellent information from the newsroom there. Thank you guys so much. The exact name of that little levery stick is called a jack, just like the sort of thing that you put underneath your car to help lever it up. Thank you guys so much. So we all get to learn new things every day. I get to learn, you guys get to learn. So this is a very interesting sort of situation because cars don't exactly go off the road every day. But when they do, it's not usually something as large as an RV, especially one of this size. Now, we do now see that they are cracking open one of the windows to the RV itself, possibly to help set up the jack a little bit better here. I don't want to zoom too much into the crash itself, just in case the driver of the vehicle is visible. So I'll see what I can do here. But as you can see, they're setting up the jack and apparently pressing it up against the actual window frame of that vehicle's window right in the front there, in order to try to help lever the vehicle out of the way, or at the very least stabilize it so that when emergency responders are crawling around the area, they don't have the vehicle fall on them as well. Because that's one of the biggest things, and that's partially why one of these incidents takes so long to resolve, even once somebody has been pulled out of the vehicle, is that emergency responders, the reason why we want them to be able to handle it is because they're trained not only how to save others, but how to keep themselves safe. And that is one of the biggest problems that you have to deal with. You never ever want more people being put in danger. You or I could run right into the middle of this, but we aren't necessarily going to have any idea how to keep ourselves safe in a situation like this. So that's kind of funny that that window really didn't want to break there. Thankfully, it looks like they did manage to get it in, and they are stabilizing the vehicle itself. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it out today, but at the very least, they should be able to help prevent it from falling over and hurting any of the emergency responders. For those of you who have been with us, this is our second live covering this RV crash. Thank you all very much for sticking with us. It has been a very interesting hour and a half as of this point. Unfortunately, there's still no update as to the condition of the driver. We last heard that the driver of this RV was trapped in the vehicle, and that's the last information we really had as to the person who was involved in this incident. We're really still trying to get more information, but as of this point, it's kind of a waiting game. Whenever we see somebody pulled out of the wreckage, that's when we know that they'll be fine. If you guys have any questions as to the exact location of this incident or anything along those lines, please go ahead and pop it in the comments, or you can head on over to hometownstation.com KHTS.com or hit us up at KHTS Radio. Now, just as a reminder, we are a radio station. If there's ever a time there is a large brush fire going on in the Santa Clarita Valley or any sort of major incident, you can always tune on in to 98.1 FM or AM 1220, and we'll be able to get you the latest updates there. If your phone isn't working, if you're driving and something's going on, but you can't exactly be sitting on Facebook all day listening to somebody do a Facebook Live, you can always head on over to our actual radio transmissions at 98.1 FM or AM 1220. We've got all sorts of local shows as well, featuring people who try to discuss issues that concern the Santa Clarita Valley, whether you're a senior, whether you're a parent, a teen. We've got stuff and shows to interest all of you guys, but most importantly, whenever there is breaking news in the Santa Clarita Valley, we try to get the latest updates up on the air so that you're not glued to your phone if you can't ever access it at any point. So please head on over, check us out, and we'll try to make sure that I keep on covering this incident for as long as possible. Alrighty. This is a long form incident as of this point. This is going to take quite a bit of time, not only to stabilize the vehicle, but to figure out exactly what happened to the driver. We haven't really heard anything, which has led to a lot of speculation as to the condition of the driver. Unfortunately, I really can't answer any of those questions from my position. But please, if you are in the area of Jake's Way and Lost Canyon Road, please try to avoid the area. The roundabout itself is completely stuck. Thank you so much. Don't try to come through this area because all you're going to do is get stuck dealing with the emergency responders who are stuck. They've completely blocked the entire roundabout, so please just avoid the area. Hello, Stacy. We are currently at the intersection of Lost Canyon Road and Jake's Way in Canyon Country, right next to the Santa Clara Riverbed. So you can actually see, let me zoom out just a teensy bit here. You can actually see the 14 freeway is on the right side of your screen, and I'll go ahead and give you guys a look at the roundabout. So if you're familiar, Lost Canyon Road is just back up that direction. Jake's Way is in both of these directions. Sierra Highway would be that way. So we are currently facing westward, and you can really tell, actually, let me pan back, sorry. The vehicle, we're not quite sure exactly what happened, but we do know that there was some damage and the vehicle ended up hopping the curb right in between that pole and this tree, dragged some mulch out, led to some skid marks that you actually can see a little bit of right there. There's some skid marks that lead straight over to where the vehicle eventually came to a rest, partially in the Santa Clara Riverbed. So the entire roundabout is completely blocked as of this point. You can get out of the eastbound side of Jake's Way and turn onto Lost Canyon Road. However, you are going to be going against the flow of traffic. I can see people turning left into the roundabout rather than following the actual route of what they should be because it has been blocked by first responders. So the people that you are seeing on your screen are actually members of the American Medical Response, aka your ambulance. Those are the ones in the bright neon green jackets and the helmets. You've also got your firefighters, and there's actually a very special department of the Los Angeles County Fire Department that is your urban search and rescue. So we've seen urban search and rescue get pulled out a couple of different times in the past couple of years. To be perfectly honest, Santa Clarita is a great place. 90% of the time when urban search and rescue is getting pulled out, it's because a kid fell into one of the storm drains and they're panicking trying to get them out. Other times, urban search and rescue gets called out. Those are the ones that you can actually see leaving with their little helmets. Urban search and rescue gets called out to stuff like this. So they really get to handle the most difficult crashes, the most difficult situations where it requires either a tight space or just difficult terrain in general. They're actually housed right over on, let's see, who is this? Engine 136? Okay, 136. So they're housed up here in Santa Clarita, which is very nice for us because Santa Clarita is kind of the edge of no man's land when it comes to Los Angeles County, because we've got the 5 freeway heading north, which goes into the Grapevine, which, as all of you know, the Grapevine gets blocked by snow. There's pretty much no help coming from Kern County or vice versa. And then you've got this long stretch of freeway between Santa Clarita and Acton, Palmdale, and Lancaster. So Santa Clarita has a perfect mix of the most important equipment because we are at the edge of wilderness. So we managed to have a lot of extra equipment that some other communities might have to wait to receive, in terms of maybe if we weren't at the edge of everything, we might have to ask San Fernando for help. Thankfully, that is not the case, and we have all these different crews which are right here in the Santa Clarita Valley ready to help us at any point in time. Today has already been an eventful day for sure. This day started with news of possible threats over at Hart High School. Ended up going into, there was a stabbing last night. Thankfully, that was not fatal. And then finally, we ended up dealing with a gas explosion over in Valencia, and then immediately headed on over here to Canyon Country. So let me see what we got here. I'll be able to answer your question. Okay, unfortunately, I am seeing a white sheet getting set up. So unfortunately, this is now confirmed to be a fatality. All right, let me go ahead and give you a little bit more information, and let me move the camera a little bit because this is now confirmed to be a fatality over here at a crash involving an RV. Let me give it just a second. They are setting up a sheet over the driver. This is a fatal crash that occurred approximately an hour and a half ago over here at the intersection of Jake's Way and Lost Canyon Road. There was one person trapped in the vehicle, assumed to be the driver, who has now been confirmed to be a fatality. I just saw them lay down the sheet myself. So unfortunately, I'd like to give a moment of silence for the victim and for their families. So bear with me for a moment. Thank you very much. For those of you who are just joining, we just held a small moment of silence for the victim of this now fatal crash. I'm going to give you another recap now that, and then we're going to be shutting down this live now that this incident has reached its very unfortunate conclusion. This crash occurred at approximately an hour and a half ago at the intersection of Jake's Way and Lost Canyon Road in Canyon Country. We're still looking into the circumstances of the crash itself. However, we do know that for one reason or another, that RV jumped the curb just to the left of this incident, traveled about 50 feet or so, and then went over the edge of this embankment into the Santa Clara River. Since that point, we did hear that the driver was at one point trapped. Now we know that this is a fatal crash. For obvious reasons, the identity is not yet available. We'll be looking for that in the next couple of days. Identity is never available to us, the media. First, it is always offered to next of kin. So until this poor person's family members are informed, you will not be hearing about who unfortunately passed in this crash. Please head on over to our website at hometownstation.com. You'll be able to watch my other live on this, as well as read full updates on the situation. You can also follow us on social media at KHTS Radio if you want to hear about the latest in Santa Clarita news. Sometimes it's stuff like this. Sometimes it's good information about the community, like new events and nice, happy things about the community coming together. So please head on over, hometownstation.com, or at KHTS Radio on our social media. And you can also tune in for traffic and news updates every day at 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Please, thank you all very much, and you have a good one.